Uh-uh. Hello, everyone. I'm more of an executor. I organize a lot of events like this. It's more smaller, but it's definitely an honor to be a speaker at ETHDenver. It's my second time. Thanks for being here. My name is Erica Kang. I'm the founder of Crypto Planet. Previously, it was Kryptoseoul, and it just rebranded. So I just want to talk about how to collaborate and how I am collaborating East and West and facilitating innovation in crypto. So just a brief introduction of who I am. I'm the founder of Kryptoseoul since 2018, so I'm kind of I've been in the space for a long time. I've expanded to Crypto Planet since 2023, trying to be more global. I'm also the host of Build Asia Conference and ETHSoul and Builder Breakfast. I'm not sure if you've seen the Builder Breakfast in Denver, but it's my third Builder Breakfast I host in Denver. I do a lot of satellite events around bigger conferences like ETHDenver, ETHCC, and DEF CON. I'm also the SheFi Soul chapter lead. There's a SheFi booth over there, if you can say hi. I also hosted over 7 conferences, 6 hackathons, I think 50 plus meetups and side events since 2017. So I've been in the space for a long time, and those are my logos. It's pretty cute. And my personal mission in crypto for 8 years has been to facilitate coordination, innovation between Asia, other parts of the world. And it's really hard to connect Asia and to kind of highlight that area, especially in the builder community. And I'm all for the builder community, like the ETHDenver crowd here, and how to bring this culture to Asia, right? And using what I'm good at, which is communication, event organization, coordination, connection, so forth. And in my own way, I've been curating many events in Asia and pulling together all founders, good builders, students, and trying to represent the Asian community that is a healthy ecosystem, that a lot of fun stuff is going on in Asia, a lot of cool stuff, healthy ecosystem can be built in Asia. And Asia is a very big animal, so like I don't want to really generalize Asia into one big lump, but in Asia, there's East Asia, Northeast Asia, Southeast Asia, all sorts of countries, and each culture is very different. So I'm from Korea personally, so it is, I'm more like Korea and Vietnam focused, but I also represent, countries in like maybe Singapore. I also help with Indonesia, Hong Kong, and so I'm trying to kind of give a more general introduction about Asia in this presentation. So hopefully this helps. So as you might probably know, I think 2024 will be the year for Asia. Because of many reasons. So I think general interest in the region has grown exponentially this year. And I've gotten so many DMs, so many requests for calls due to the interest in Asia. Many reasons contribute to this, and I just kind of highlighted a few. U.S. regulations is not the most friendly, and of course the SEC commissioner was here, but still, I think in general the U.S. policies has not been the best environment for companies to thrive, right? And especially in crypto. Comparatively, in Asia, it's been more friendlier. And especially like in Singapore, Hong Kong, Korea, Japan, it's been relatively more open. And even now, there's more room for growth. And so that's why I think the shift has slowly been towards Asia. Also, there's growing interest in builder communities. I think Asia's been mainly known for speculation, a lot of retail investors, which is still the case. A lot of good exchanges are in Korea, right? Like Upbit, Bithumb. I'm sure you've heard of some of them. But I mostly work on builder communities, and I think that is definitely becoming a highlight as well. Some people are believing, oh, actually, it can happen. There can be some good hackathons based in Asia as well. So the interest in that perspective has generally grown general interest in Asia. Also, I know maybe I'll highlight later, but DEF CON is happening in Asia later this year, and I think that's garnered a lot of interest in Asia in general. Like some people are considering to move to Asia for like 6 months and to kind of like look at Southeast Asian region as a whole, and like reaching out to me for recommendations. So I'll talk more about it later. So Asia has been having this pivotal role in evolution of Web3 in many reasons, and I kind of want to highlight a few. So regulatory foresight, technological innovation, community enthusiasm. And as you've seen in many reports these days, there's a lot of highlights on the region of Southeast Asia, which has not been the most highlighted recently. But I think in 2024, there's been a lot. 2023, there's been a lot of interest in Southeast Asia region as a whole in terms of crypto adoption. I don't know if you know, but I lived in Vietnam for 2 years, and I've seen many gamers, especially Axie Infinity. I don't know if many of you play Axie, but Vietnam is a very big hub for Axie Infinity, and a lot of gamers, a lot of players contribute to the user adoption. And so I think a lot of contributors are actually based in Southeast Asia. Not many of you know, but yeah, so a lot of good insights are coming from Southeast Asia in terms of adoption, lots of actual usage of crypto apps, right? And also just generally introduction, interest in digital asset innovation in Asia. So a lot of mobile applications are very easy to use in Korea or Southeast Asia, for example. I was so amazed at how easy it is to use through QR codes and just be really familiar with mobile apps. And I think that really facilitates how crypto apps can also be implemented in Asia as well. Yeah, so also rise in activity and adoption, as I kind of explained before, and kind of there's a lot of unbanked populations still in Asia, Southeast Asian countries, and I think it's getting better. And there's a lot of interest among governments as well to kind of reach the unbanked as well through innovative financial solutions, right? And also, I've realized I talked to many governments in Southeast Asia, but they've been just interested in general in fintech in general, and I think they kind of relate fintech to crypto in many ways. And they do a lot of studies in it. Our government has a lot of task forces that kind of study fintech and crypto together and try to say how can we make a healthy DeFi trend, right, in Asia, in their own respective country. And I've seen this trend also in universities based in Vietnam, for example. Our MIT Vietnam has done extensive research in DeFi, fintech, and so I've been requested to talk about fintech trends, DeFi trends in Korea, but I think that interest just reflects how much rise in activity has been grown in Asia, and regulatory advancements. As I said before, U.S. is not. I mean, of course, U.S. standards are very important to Asian governments as well, but also I think a lot of respective countries in Asia have had their own stance towards crypto, and mostly towards the pro, right? They're taking significant steps, especially Singapore, Hong Kong, Indonesia, and as you can see, there's many attempts to accept crypto ETFs. And Singapore, of course, MAS has been really taking forward. Of course, they've been kind of going through really free to strict, and they do have their strict policies, but at the same time, they're trying to do the right thing, right? They're trying to really make it right. And that's why a lot of projects are based in Singapore, and they're talking to regulators, they're talking to other policymakers to make this right. And there's been a lot of collaborative effort initiated by MAS to kind of facilitate this communication. Also, Hong Kong. I was in Hong Kong last year, and I was so amazed at how many projects want to come to Hong Kong to kind of talk to all the policymakers. And so, yeah, it's a really positive movement. A lot of good flows coming into Hong Kong as well. Indonesia is really mostly well known for Web2 tech companies, but I talked to some startups that are based in Indonesia that are mostly concentrated on Web2, but they actually showed interest in coming into Web3, and they asked me for a consultation. So I thought that was a very positive movement, and they wanted to also persuade the government in kind of making this a friendly environment for crypto. So, I mean, we can maybe see some ETH Indonesia happening in a couple of months. We'll see what happens. But if that's the case, I would love to contribute to Indonesia as well and kind of go to Jakarta to host events there. But it's really a positive movement gradually, and Indonesia has been trying to implement digital certificates for public services, which is a really good use case, right, for crypto. Of course, I cannot not talk about Korea and Japan, which are my area of forte. And Japan has been kind of starting from scratch, and they really are having this really structured approach. People have been kind of bearish on Japan. I mean, early on, but I think increasingly there's a lot of traction in Japan, interest in Japan, because they're really trying to do the right thing. Also, South Korea is going back and forth, has been going back and forth for a long time. They've been looking at the US, they've been looking at Japan, they've been looking at like China. And I think they're slowly getting it right. They're getting there. And especially major enterprises are based in Japan and Korea. They still have their blockchain task forces. They still have their teams. For example, I talked to Nexon, which is a big gaming corporation in South Korea, and they want to speak at my conference because they want to showcase what they are building right now, and they're ready to show it to the world, right? So they're taking meaningful strides, which is great, and especially South Korea right now. It's very interesting because elections are coming up in South Korea, and so a lot of hot topics going on among political parties. And right now, as a Korean citizen, it's like I'm scared to kind of face the crypto tax implemented in 2025. But actually, the structure that they're trying to implement is actually pretty positive. It's not too intimidating. It's actually pretty structured, and so a lot of people are not looking forward to it, but they're embracing it. I think a lot of traders are embracing it and trying to say, okay, this is a positive movement. We need regulation to some degree, right? And also, a lot of exchanges are right now currently listing a lot. Actually, if you've seen, maybe some of you have seen, before restriction is happening with exchanges. And also, there's two major political parties in South Korea, and they're both implementing pro-crypto policies, which is very surprising. Usually, it's been one political party would cry for pro-crypto, but actually both parties are actually for crypto now, so which is a very positive movement. I think they're trying to win the votes for the young generation as well. And so we'll see what happens. And also, this is what I'm mostly enthusiastic about, but to kind of bring about cross-cultural communication, coordination, also to bring interest in general in Asia, is to bring this to Asia, right? What's happening here to Asia? And I think Asia's increasing role in the Web3 event scene has really helped to gain more interest in Asia. Because physical, you have to be IRL, you have to be there, present, to see what's happening in Asia, to experience it, right, to meet the right people. And ETHDenver is wonderful. I always come here to be inspired by the spirits here and also the healthy builder communities here. But I wanted to bring that to Korea, right, and also to all of Asia. And 2024 will be very, very interesting because this year there's DEF CON happening in Southeast Asia, which is actually, it's going to be a huge interest in general, Southeast Asian region in total. So I've heard so many projects trying to make a 6-month tour in Southeast Asia, for example, not only Bangkok, Thailand, but also going to Indonesia, Vietnam, Singapore, of course, Hong Kong, all those neighboring countries, and even Korea to drop by, right? And so there's DEF CON Southeast Asia, Solana Breakpoint, as you probably, Solana's here too. They're having their Singapore event in September. And SmartCon, I believe, is happening in Asia as well. And EdCon is happening also in July in Tokyo, I believe, or Japan. And so a lot of these ETH-friendly events, a lot of builder-focused events are happening in Asia this year. And so that's why a lot of teams are, interested in Asia as a whole. And I think it's just the beginning, right? And also, not only this year specials, but also there's usually popular ones, brought by the local community, which are ETH Taipei, ETH Seoul, hosted by me, Biddle Asia, also by me, Korea Blockchain Week, ETH Singapore, and Token 2049. That's always the kind of the Asia targeted events that's happening every year. And I think it's getting better and better each year. Everybody's really interested in what's happening in Asia in general, so everybody's just coming to look at the scene. And I know there's a lot of amazing events happening in US and Europe, which I always respect and I always go to. But I think the US Europe-centric conferences are definitely shifting a little bit towards Asia as well. And I think that's a really positive movement and a symbolic move as well to kind of reflect, oh, actually, Asia has some important, meaningful implications, right? And we should really look into what's happening there. So you should join us. And just kind of do an introduction of what's happening next month, actually. A month, like literally next month in Middle Asia. So I'm hosting Middle Asia in Seoul. It's a little shorter slide, but it's builder focused like ETHDenver. It's a definitely smaller, but community driven and technological, research driven as well. And so Vitalik's coming in person, not online, to kind of also support the Asian region as well. It's really applaudable that he's coming over in person to, support communities like me, and it's really respectable. And yeah, I mean, like driving interest, bringing founders, builders to Asia in person, it really does facilitate a lot of coordination, innovation, even within the conference and also in the longer term as well. So I've experienced that for 7 years now, and I think, more events should be in the making as well. Come join us at Middle Asia in a month. But follow me on Twitter for more information. But it's going to be an amazing, introduction to Asia and what's happening in Korea specific as well. Yeah, and the Asian momentum is just beginning, right? It's literally just beginning. I think it shouldn't be just like a one-time thing. It is a good momentum to start this year, but also we should really keep this movement going and kind of having more regular events happening, or actually more like bringing Asia here as well is also meaningful as well. Just connecting, how to connect wisely East and West and through like cross-cultural communication or even events is really helpful. And so I really welcome fellow organizers, builders, founders to Asia. And I really hope to coordinate together and let's build together. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Erica. It's so great to have people like you supporting, creating equal opportunities here and across the world.